Good evening, learners, and welcome to another class of business data analytics. And so let me share the screen today. So today we'll be doing analysis of financial statement. Actually, this one is the updated version. Right. So this one is BDA Online Tutor, and I welcome you. It's an online tutor, a trusted business data analytics platform with guaranteed success, isn't it? Yes, we guarantee success. So for those watching us on YouTube, I would like to recommend that you subscribe, you like and you share, and you click on the notification bell so that when we post a new video, you are told of the video, isn't it? And we have affordable prices and also favorable timing. Our classes actually may fit any schedule. For example, maybe you work. Okay, our classes are very flexible. The schedule is very flexible, and we have various packages. We have the basic package. This one is at 500. The starter package at 800. The elite package at 1500, and the premium package at 2500. So the more like it's like a pyramid, isn't it? The way you go down, it increases, and the content also increases. Like, let me say the basic package. The basic package will just be paid the notes and maybe the CSD Excel files that I have the questions, isn't it? So as we wait for others to join in, I'll say that today's topic is analysis of financial statement, isn't it? So if you have had the chance to see the business data analytics syllabus, you know, when you start the core applications now into Microsoft Excel, after preparing financial statements, then you go to analysis of the financial statement, isn't it? And you are just waiting for some people also to join in and we start. So the subtopics will be the ratio analysis, will be the ratio analysis. Also, we'll do some common size statements. We'll do trend analysis. We'll do cross-sectional, and we'll use the use of graphs and charts. And you can see we have just arranged them. Like you can see this one RA, this one is ratio analysis. Let me click on it. You can see we also have some notes under there. Also, if you check here, there's the common size financial statements. Also, we have the notes on the balance sheet, the cash flow statement, and the income statement, isn't it? Also, when you come to trend analysis and horizontal analysis, I'll show you they are almost similar, but I'll show you there's just a little bit, a small difference. And the cross-sectional analysis also, we'll talk about it. We have some notes there. And then we'll finish with the graphs. So the graphs, they are just self-explanatory, so we don't have some notes there. So like I was saying that we will start, and you can just liaise with me. My phone number is here, and also my email address. I take WhatsApp, text, and calls. You can liaise with me, any package that it's affordable to you, and I'll be very kind to you also. Okay, we'll start with the ratio analysis. The others will find us. So, like they say, ratio analysis is a quantitative method of gaining insight into a company's liquidity, operational efficiency, and profitability by studying its financial statements such as the balance sheet, income statement. Ratio analysis is the cornerstone of fundamental equity analysis. This one is for the people doing the CFA one. Okay, the fundamental equity analysis. So ratio analysis is a cornerstone of it. So as they have said here, there are very different insights: the liquidity, operational efficiency, and profitability. And we just tried to write them down. So the types of ratio analysis, there are various kinds. So we start with the liquidity. So the liquidity ratio measures the ability of the company to pay off the short-term debts or short-term liabilities as they become due, using the company's current or quick assets. Liquidity ratio include current ratio, quick ratio, and working capital ratio. Actually, this working capital ratio is the same as the cash ratio, isn't it? And there we've given you the formulas of the current ratio, the quick ratio, and also the cash ratio. So we'll go to solvency. Solvency, or they call it the leverage ratios, also called financial leverage ratios. Solvency ratios compares the company's debt against its asset like equity and earnings to evaluate the likelihood of the company staying afloat over a long haul by paying off its long-term liability as well as the interest on its debt. Examples of solvency ratio include the debt equity ratio, the debt asset, and the interest coverage ratio. There we have been given the formulas of each. I think you can see. Then we have the profitability. If the company is generating profit from its operation, isn't it? We have like the profit margin. This one we have the net profit margin and the gross profit margin. We have the return on assets. We have the return on equity, return on capital employed, and the gross margin ratios. Where are all examples of profitability ratio? So there here we have the gross profit margin ratio, net profit margin ratio, the return on capital employed, the return on equity, and and I like to say these two are not here actually. These two are not here. I'll do this. I do clear, then I do control minus, then I click OK. So they are saying some cells are merged. Okay, I'll unmerge them. Sorry, I'll do control Z. Actually, it will let them be that way. They are down there. So we come to the efficiency ratios. This one are likely the turnover ratios, like activity ratios, efficiency ratios evaluate how efficiently a company uses its assets and liabilities to generate sales and maximize profit. Key efficiency ratio include turnover ratios, inventory turnover, and days sales in inventory. So we did the receivables. So with credit sales over average receivables, and I like to say that you see our. Let me talk about the receivable days first. The receivable days, it's 365 over the receivable turnover. So like what we want our receivable days to be small. We don't want our receivable days to be many because we want our clients to be paying up faster, isn't it? The inventory turnover, how are the goods being sold? Are they being sold? So it's the cost of goods sold of average inventory, and also the days. We want the days to be small. We don't want the days to be many because we want to be making sales. And the payables turnover, also it's the purchases of our accounts payable and the payable days of the payables turnover. And for the payable turnover, you see we are paying out, isn't it? So we don't want to be, for the payable days, we don't want to be paying out faster. So that one we want them to be more, isn't it? The cash conversion cycle is now the all three, the receivable days, the inventory days, and the payable days, isn't it? The asset turnover is total asset over average, and the equity turnover is total sales over equity. Then we go to coverage ratios. So coverage ratios measures the company's ability to make the interest payments and other obligations associated with its debt. Example include the time interest earned ratio and the debt service coverage ratio. So the time interest earned ratio is the earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization over interest expense. And the DCR, or the debt service coverage ratio, the net operating profit over debt service. And so this debt service is like the loan, the principal plus the interest. Now it's the debt service. So we come to market prospect ratios. Here is where EPS comes now. I was saying it's down here. These are commonly used ratios for fundamental analysis. They include the dividend yield, price earning ratio, earnings per share, and the dividend payout ratio. Investors use these metrics to predict earnings and future performance. You can see there we have the EPS, price earning, dividend yield, and the DPR, isn't it? And also we also have something called the market price here, the market price per share, isn't it? Okay, we'll go to some questions. Actually, I wanted that to have a background of it, isn't it? So ratio analysis one, you've been provided with the financial statements of BD Limited. A company has a total share capital of 225 million with shares of cash 10 each. BD Limited market price per share for the 3 years from 2010 was as follows. The 2010, we have been given the market price per share. There you've been given the statement of profit and loss, and you've also been given the statement of financial position, and I've been given the additional information. The cost of goods comprised of these ones. You can see here. These ones here are the ones here, isn't it? These ones. These ones are the cost of goods, because here we never looked into cost of goods. And for some ratios, we want like the purchases of like for the accounts, the payables, we want the purchases, actually the raw materials. We don't want other factors like depreciation, manufacturing expense. Those ones we don't want them. So we'll start with oh, it's here. So we'll start directly. So let me see. Where is it? Here. Compute the following metrics for BD Limited. Actually here, what I've done, we will try to compute as many as possible, like how we do, like the whole of this thing, control home to go up, the whole of these types, isn't it? So we'll start with the liquidity ratios. So we start with the current ratio. So as said there, the current ratio is the current assets divided by the current liabilities, isn't it? So it's here. Come just to the question. So so I will be doing for the 3 years. I like to do. I'll come back here. I select this one. Sorry, I rub the equal sign. I select this one. I press Control Shift Plus, and I move cells down. I press OK. So because some cells are merged that way. So I'll take this one here. I'll do Control X. Then I do Control V. Isn't it? Then I'll input in the years. So I'll just take the years from the statement of financial position just this way. Control C. I've passed, but there's nothing from there. Then I'll come here. I do Control V, isn't it? So we'll start from 2010. Here it will be equals. We come to our current assets. You can see here is our current assets, isn't it? So you take that one, divide, and you must start with an equal sign. Divide by the current liabilities here, isn't it? Then I do Control Enter. So I can change it to percentage. No, let me change it there to like because the current ratio is always not in percentage. Like you can see that this company can use their current liabilities. They can pay off their current liabilities at 1.23 rate, isn't it? That's how they can pay their liability. So we'll go to the quick ratio, and the quick ratio, the thing we do is we minus the inventory. So we'll come to current assets here. So here we start with an bracket. So we'll take our current assets, then minus our inventory, isn't it? Then we close our bracket, then divide by our current liabilities. This way, Control Enter. And I'll do 2 decimal places. Isn't it? Like without our inventory, we can pay off our current liabilities at 0.5. This means we can only pay a half of our liabilities, isn't it? So the cash ratio equals. So for the cash ratio is the marketable securities. So we can see here, we have a cash and bank here. So we started with an equal sign here. And like if you can see, we don't have any other cash and cash equivalent, isn't it? Yes, we don't have any cash and cash equivalent. So it will be just that one, divided by the current liabilities. Control Enter. Then I'll do 2 decimal places, like it's 0.1. Then I'll come here. Sorry, here. When the cursor is big, there I take it down. I come to the right bottom here. I drag along, isn't it? Those ones are for those years. Then we come to the solvency ratio. So the solvency ratio here is the debt equity ratio, is the total debt. So we start with equals. So we look for our total debt, and we have only our debentures. And because these one are also under non-current liabilities, we will take them as debt, because debt is always over non-current liability. So I'll start with the opening bracket. So I'll take this one, shift plus this one. I close my brackets, divide by total equity. So total equity is also known as net worth, isn't it? Divided by this one. Control enter. I'll do 2 decimal places. So we can also do percentage, because sometimes the debt equity ratio is written in percentage. So we go to our interest coverage ratio equals. So our interest coverage ratio, we can just confirm here. It's our earnings before depreciation, interest, and tax over interest, isn't it? So I'll take that one out. So it's earnings before depreciation. So that one is on the statement of profit and loss. You see here we have earnings before interest and tax, isn't it? What we are just lacking is depreciation. So I'll start with the open my brackets, and I'll take the earnings, isn't it, before interest and the rest, plus. So I'll add under the additional information, under the cost of goods sold, we had the depreciation here, plus this one, isn't it? I close my bracket. I do divide by interest, the interest expense. And you can see our interest here, our interest expense is in negative, so it will affect. So I start with a negative sign, then I take the interest, control enter, control backspace to jump to the active cell, isn't it? So that one is our interest coverage ratio. And our debt coverage ratio is total debt over total assets, isn't it? So we'll just take this way, equals. We come to total debt. So it will also add equals the debentures, shift plus the others. We close our brackets, divide by total assets, isn't it? Control enter, control backspace, jump to the active cell, and 2 decimal places, isn't it? You can now take this way and you drag them along also. And I'll do Alt HDL for a left border. This one here, isn't it? So we'll go to the profitability. So profitability ratios, we have like the gross profit margin. So this one's a little bit simpler. So it will be like, sorry, you can see that now it doesn't start from where I want. So I'll unmerge. Then I reduce here. Then I merge again. Then I do Control C, copy the merge, because from here going down is that way. Then I do Control D, no, Control Z to go back. I'll do Control Alt V. Then I do format. Then I do OK. Isn't it? It brings now the format, like we can start from here. So gross profit margin equals our gross profit margin. So you just come to gross profit here. This one, divide by our sales, isn't it? This one here, control enter, control backspace, and this one is in percentage, isn't it? And I'll do two decimal places so that I be precise. We come to our net profit margin, then we just go to our net profit. Our net profit is here, profit after tax. We take that one, divide by our sales, isn't it? Control enter. Actually here you don't need to lock, and also it's in percentage. Then I do 2 decimal places. Then we come to our return on capital employed. So I'll just confirm that one equals. No, I just confirm first. Okay, return on capital employed. Here, it's earnings before interest and tax into bracket 1 minus tax. That one is 0.7, isn't it? Over net sales. So we come here, equals. We come to our earnings before interest and tax. So I'll start with brackets. So it's here earnings before interest and tax. I take that one, I do times 0.7, 1 minus tax, isn't it? I close my bracket, I do divide by our sales, isn't it? Just that way. Control enter, control backspace, and I can do percentage, and I do 2 decimal places. Okay, we go to our return on equity. So that one is the net profit over net worth. Come here, this one, divide by our net worth is under a statement of financial position here. Divided by this one, control enter, control backspace to jump to the active state, percentage, 2 decimal places. Our EPS, I told you this one is under down there. So we'll go straight to our return on assets. Return on assets, let me confirm. So our return on assets is net income over total equity. Now that this one is not net worth, total equity, isn't it? So I'll grab that one. I'll come here. So our where is it? Is here. This one divide by total equity, isn't it? So our total equity, I don't think it's the total net worth. Or let me just confirm what are they saying over total equity. Total equity is like same, but this one is return on assets. So it will be, let me correct this one. It will be over total assets, isn't it? Okay, that one will be a little bit understandable. Okay, let me just see here. Because it's a return on assets, it's not return on equity. I'll do this assets, isn't it? Yeah. So we are here equals. So our total assets is like our total equity and liability. Actually, maybe the liability part was not there, so it's this one. Divide by our total assets. Control enter, control backspace. Jump to the active side percentage, 2 decimal places, isn't it? Now I'll come here. I just drag the way there. Then this way, isn't it? Then I'll do Alt HBL for a left border. Then I come to efficiency ratios. So receivables turnover. Actually, also you can see that so I'll unmerge first. Then I reduce the merge up to here, up to this one there, and then I merge again. Then I do Control C. I come here. I take this one down. I do Control Alt V. And I do format because I just want the format only. Okay, isn't it? So this one, our receivable turnover are associated with sales, isn't it? Because data come from we sold them something, isn't it? You can see. So it will be credit sales because the data are just coming because of the credit sales. But if you have not been given the credit sales, so it will be just sales, isn't it? So here I'll remove the R1 here first. So we'll come here, and you can see that we cannot start from the 2010 because it's over average. So the previous plus the current. So this one will start from here, equals. So we go to our sales of the second year. Here for 2011 here, this one. Then we do divide, and I will open your brackets. Open our brackets. So it's average account receivable. So it will be for 2010 plus for 2011 divided by 2, isn't it? So this one, I'll open another bracket. I'll open 2 brackets. So I'll take away this one here, shift plus this one here. I close the first bracket, I do divide by 2, then I close the second bracket, isn't it? Control Enter. We are here. So our receivable turnovers are very low. I'll do 2 decimal places. Then I'll come to the receivable days. So receivable days is equals. So the number of days per year we are assuming is 365 divided by this one. Control Enter. Like we can see that our data, because these one are days, you can see that our data are taking almost like 2 months, because 38 1 month plus some weeks, then at 40 they are taking a very long time to pay us. We want these ones to be very low, like maybe they take like it must not exceed a month, isn't it? So we come to our inventory turnover. How are we selling? So it's the cost of goods sold. So we'll take the whole cost of goods sold. You can take them from the statement of profit and loss, or from the breakdown of the cost of goods, and here it is cost of sales. So it's a negative. I start with a negative to make it positive. Divide by average inventory, isn't it? I'll open my first bracket and my second bracket. So here is our inventory. So this one plus this one. I close the first one, divide. I close the second one. Control Enter. Sorry, it never wrote the divide by 2. Divide by 2. Divide by 2 first. That way, Control Enter, Control Backspace to jump to the active sales, and I'll do 2 decimal places. Okay, we'll go to inventory days. So inventory days equals to 365. 365 divided by this one. Control Enter. You see, we are taking a very, very, very long time to sell. Like we are taking almost 3 months and something to almost to 4 months to make all our stock be sold out. We are taking a very long time. So we go to our accounts payable. So accounts payable are associated with purchases. They're associated with purchases. So you can see the breakdown of cost of goods sold. The raw materials are the only purchases, isn't it? So I'll take this one, divide by the average, isn't it? The average of accounts payable. I'll do 2 brackets to open first, then I'll come. What is the accounts payable here? They are the trade creditors, isn't it? So it will be this one, shift plus this one. I close my first one, divide by 2. I close the second one, Control Enter, Control Backspace to jump to the active cell. I do 2. So the payable days equals 365 divided by the turnover, Control Enter. You can see that this company is not performing well, because you can see that it's using a lot of money, because you see the data are paying up very late at 38 days range, but our creditors, we are paying them at 28 days range, isn't it? Actually, you see, when you are this one actually they will be very preferred to be like a 1 decimal place, because they are days, isn't it? Also this one, because days don't have points, isn't it? That way. So our cash conversion cycle is the debts, isn't it, equals? So it's the receivable days, shift plus the inventory days, minus payable days, control enter. So like we convert cash at our 129 day interval, isn't it? We go to assets turnover, let me confirm that one. Total assets over total sales over average assets. So it will be, so this one will start from here also, here equals. So our sales, total sales over the total, so our sales are here, our revenue is here, this one, divided by average assets, total assets, isn't it? So it will be like, I'll open my bracket and the second one, so this one, shift plus this one, I close my bracket, divide by 2, I close the second bracket, control enter, control backspace to jump to the active sales. I'll do control enter, I'll do 2. Okay. Then we have our equity turnover equals. So by our equity can just start from here because it's the turnover of equity. You can see like there's no average, it's just total sales over equity, isn't it? So it will be equals sales with our sales here, this one, divide by our net worth, because net worth is our now total equity, this one here, control enter, control backspace to jump to the active cell. I'll do 2, then I drag along. Sorry. Okay, I'll drag along because it's 1. Also, I'll take from here because here is where I've not dragged along. I'll just let me take this way up to here. Then I do this way. We've already done for the next year. You can see that for our next year, we didn't pay faster. We paid at our 50-day interval, isn't it? But our cash conversion cycle increased. And also our inventory days increased. It means we are holding on more stock, isn't it? We go to now let me do control C, or let me just do this and merge. If I just leave it that way, I'll do sorry, let me start from here. My mouse is a little bit slippery over here this way. Let me check from here now. Up to there, I do Alt HBL. Isn't it also here? These two, I'll do Alt HBL. Isn't it? So our equals earnings before interest is there. Earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and amortization, EBITDA. It will be our earnings before. So like our depreciation is back. So we'll come here this way. So we'll take our earnings before depreciation. So like we must start with the brackets. So this one plus our depreciation, because here's our depreciation. You can follow my cursor. This one there. You close and you do. So that one is earnings before interest, tax, and depreciation, isn't it? You do divide by the by the interest expense, isn't it? I was confirming for that. So you can see our interest expense is here, but it's in negative. So I start with a negative. I take that one, control enter, control backspace. Jump to the active cell. We'll go to our DSCR. So this one, it will be equals. You can see this one is like, I told you, let me show you here. I told you this debt service is like the total debt plus interest, isn't it? So it will be just this way. And remember, our net operating profit is like before, after operating expenses, isn't it? So you can see that in our question here, we'll take this one. So let me start with opening bracket, this one. But now I'll take this one here, and I'll minus the other incomes because we only want our net operating profit, isn't it? Minus this one. I close the brackets. I do divide. So the division will be this one, this way, our total debt. And I remember, like our total debt is the debentures, this one, shift plus the others, shift plus the interest, isn't it? And the interest is in negative form, so I'll do minus interest. This one here. I shift close brackets, control enter, control backspace, jump to the active cell. I do 2. Also here, I do 2. We come to our now the earnings per share, and I also it has passed, so I'll unmerge. I'll reduce, then I merge again, then I do control C. I copy from down up to DPR, then control Alt G, then format only. Okay, isn't it? So our earnings is equals to, you see these values here we've been given, they are in millions, isn't it? So we'll do this way. Our earnings per share is the profit. This one, divide by, as you had been told up here, the share capital is 225 M, and you can confirm that one here. Here, the share capital you can see is 225, 225, 225, isn't it? But that one is the share capital. But for earnings per share, we want the number of shares. But we've been told the shares are 10 each. So you are just type in that 225. So I'll open the brackets. 225 divided by 10. Cash 10 each, isn't it? I close the brackets, control enter, control backspace. So that one is the earnings per share. So you've been told the price earning ratio. Let me confirm that one. Actually, I think the MPS over EPS. So it will be just this way, equals. So we had been given the MPS, the market price per share. So it's this one, the market price per share. So this one divided by our earnings per share, and our earnings per share we have just calculated here. This one up here, isn't it? Control enter. So that's our price earning ratio. We go to our dividend yield, equals, our dividend yield is our DPS. Here, dividend paid, isn't it? But you can see this dividend paid is paid for the whole company, not dividend per share, and we'll be using, so it will be this one. Divide by 22.5, or you can just write, you'll open another bracket, 225, divide by 10, you close your bracket, isn't it? Now that one is the dividend per share. Divide by, so we are dividing by the market price per share, isn't it? Market price per share. So our market price per share was up here, and we have like 1 minute. So when we log out, we will just log in again. It's here. Control enter. Sorry. Yes. Control backspace. Jump to the active cell. Then I'll do 2 decimal places equals the, I'll open brackets, the negative dividends divided by 22.5. So this one divide by 22.5 the shares. I'll close my bracket. I do divide by the earnings per share, isn't it? And these are earnings per share. I'll now come here.